Now let's get into my opinions. But before we do that, let's congratulate Florida State before talking about Alabama. They looked hungry. Mike Norvell made the right offseason moves with the transfer portal, with staff hires. I guarantee you Florida State's not going 2-10 this year. They're already halfway to 2-10. For Bama, let's talk about the negatives first. Alabama didn't lose. They got beat. Pathetic. No fluke or flawless game by Florida State. I've seen a lot of games where Alabama's lost where I just got to give it to the other team. The other team played better. Think of Alabama versus Michigan in the semifinal, or some of those Alabama versus Clemson, like 2016 national championship games. I just had to give credit to the other team, but Alabama just played a pitiful ball game. I mean, and the most concerning thing was there was just a notable lack of effort, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Guys were just jogging. There's several clips you can find out there of guys just jogging during the play, just not giving full effort, loafing, just terrible. That's concerning. That's concerning more than anything. I can handle losing. I cannot handle losing the way we played. I mean, the key to this game was the trenches, though. Florida State pressured Simpson all game, and they weren't running anything special. They weren't throwing in some insane blitzes. They were just lining up with 3 or 4 guys and just beating our guys. But Alabama didn't get pressure on Castellanos at all. Bama got bullied. And I'll talk about Ty Simpson. Ty Simpson looked scared, and he played like it too. I think a lot of people, a lot of Alabama fans, owe Jalen Milroe an apology. Now, I will admit, Simpson didn't make any huge mistakes. He didn't play absolutely god-awful. Like, he didn't throw any interceptions, but he didn't create any plays either. There weren't any real downfield strikes or amazing runs. And I think Milroe would have gave you that. I think Milroe would have give you some runs, give you some like 50-yard touchdown runs or some deep passes. But to be fair, also think Milroe probably would have thrown a pick or two in this game. But my thoughts on Ty Simpson, I mean, he's a game manager. That's what he is. He's very comparable to me to somebody like Greg McElroy. The difference is Ty Simpson is with this 2025 Alabama team, and Greg McElroy was with that 2009 Alabama team. That's a huge damn difference. I think Ty Simpson won't be able to elevate this team, but I don't think he's going to bring them down either. But I wasn't really happy with his play. I've been concerned with Ty since high school, and the flaws were still there Saturday. I said coming out of high school, even though he was a 5-star, I looked at his tape, and I said, okay, he's got a nice arm. He's very mobile. He's way more mobile than people think he is. And he's very accurate, too. But he has piss-poor pocket presence, and it showed up Saturday versus Florida State. I mean, I watched his high school tape, and he would bail on totally clean pockets. And, you know, that may work at UT Martin, but it is not going to work versus Florida State, and it didn't. And like I said, that play I mentioned earlier where he threw it into the dirt instead of getting the easy first, geez, that pissed me off so bad. I mean, I get it, players make mistakes, but geez. And then there was another play where Alabama turned it over on downs, like I said, and if he hits the running back in stride coming out of the backfield, would have been a first, but he missed him. Like I said, I don't have particularly high hopes for the guy, especially after what I saw Saturday, but I'll give him this. Even if one of the Alabama greats like Tua or Bryce or Mac Jones played yesterday, Alabama still would have lost. I need to see more before I officially call for him to be benched, but wasn't totally happy with him. But he could have been a lot worse. Alabama only had 87 yards of rushing. Jeez. And those 87 yards, 50 of them came on the first drive. Outside of the first drive, Alabama had 37 rushing yards in this game. What the hell? In the words of Jermaine Funny Man Johnson, run the damn ball. Run the damn ball. Run the ball. But they didn't. They went away from the run, and I get that they went down by more than one score, and you want to get your guys, Ryan Williams, Jeremy Bernard, involved, and you want to strike back quickly, but we did not have the same success running the ball, and we didn't run the ball as much after that first drive, and that's just really confusing, and I don't like it. The defense was really bad. Florida State had 230 yards rushing, nearly 5 yards per carry. Gee, that's a hard stat to read. 230 yards rushing, 5 yards per carry. But they also had some bombs in the pass game. I mean, Florida State only threw the ball 14 times, only completed it 9 times. But there's 2 notable bombs I'm thinking of. They had one to Julian Lucas that I mentioned, and one to Squirrel White. I am real close to just being done with Kane Womack. I'll get to my thoughts on DeBoer later, but I am much more patient with DeBoer. I thought Womack was going to be way better than he has been. I appreciate everything he does in recruiting, but some of his defensive mistakes are just not forgivable. Not forgivable. And it goes back to last year. And I give a lot of the people, a lot of the staff some grace for last year, kind of a pass. But there were some problems last year, and I'm afraid they might affect us this year. I mean, notably, the Vanderbilt and Oklahoma games are what I'm talking about. I mean, Vanderbilt ran the same 3 plays the entire damn game. No adjustments made after halftime. That's bad enough. But what's even worse, what has me pissed off and very close to just calling for Womack to be fired, is the fact that he didn't adjust. Oklahoma beat him the same way. Oklahoma ran some of the same plays. And it's not special trick plays or anything. It's just running. It's just options, shovel passes. And his defense didn't particularly look great Saturday. So I'm not very optimistic about Womack. But that's enough negatives. You can go plenty of other podcasts or just Twitter to find any of the negatives. But now let's talk about the few pros, and there weren't many of them. But I did think the running back room played with a lot of intensity, a lot of hard running. Jam Miller was injured and didn't play this game, but I think his replacements did very good. Kevin Riley, dog, he ran very hard. Richard Young, I've been a fan of him coming out of high school. He played really hard. So that was a positive at least. I think Jeremy Bernard played great. I really like his mentality. 8 catches, almost 150 yards. He was really the only real spark on offense. And to contextualize this a little bit better for Alabama, I don't think Florida State is nearly as bad as they were last year. I could see them being like a fringe playoff team or maybe even ACC champions. I had them ranked number 20 in my preseason poll. I envisioned them more, at least before the season started, as more of like an 8-4 team. I certainly didn't think it was going to be as bad as last year. But hey, that's it for the positives. But let's talk about Kalen DeBoer. Let's talk about his future, because a lot of people have been calling for DeBoer to get fired. And look, I think there needs to be stop being an overreaction to this game. But this game was worrying. I don't want to sugarcoat it, but I don't want to overreact either. That's the middle ground I'm trying to get. I'm trying to be very rational here, something you may not get other places. So I think you got to straddle that line of not sugarcoating it, but also chill out a little bit. But it was very worrying. But I want to see how the season plays out. But we couldn't fire him anyways. I mean, the buyout is $70 million. That is so much money. And I know someone's going to bring up, well, Texas A&M fired Jimbo Fisher and his buyout was $76 million. Well, yes, but one, Texas A&M is richer than Alabama. Alabama's not poor by any standards. Alabama is a very rich university. But Texas A&M's got that oil money. It's a different level of rich. Second, they fired Jimbo Fisher not that long ago, and that was really, I don't want to say it was before NIL, but NIL has progressed. I mean, we can't just be wasting all this money. Maybe in a pre-NIL, pre-transfer portal era, Alabama could pay this $70 million buyout, but we need all the money we can get. And, you can think what you want about NIL. I don't care what you think, really. I mean, you're happy to tell me, please. But it is what it is. And you don't pay some players, if you don't get the right guys, you're not going to win. I mean, look at Ohio State last year. They won because they went out, they paid some transfers, some top dollar, and it paid off. They won the national championship. So we can't fire them anyways. And who would Alabama hire anyways? I don't want to entertain this too much, but who the hell would we get to replace him? I mean, I'll throw out some names I've heard. Glenn Schumann, that's promising to me, but he hasn't even coached a single college football game as a head coach. Only been a defensive coordinator. I mean, I'd love to see him come back to Alabama one day if DeBoer doesn't work out, but still has not coached a single game as a head coach. Lane Kiffin, I have mixed feelings. That's who I originally wanted when I first heard Saban retired, was go get Kiffin, and I think Kiffin would happily take the Alabama job, but I don't know. I have problems with him. I just don't know if Lane Kiffin can win a national championship. And that's the expectation out of Alabama. The expectation isn't win 10 games every year. That's nice, but that's the floor. That's the bare minimum at Alabama. The expectation as Alabama is compete for a national championship. And I just don't know if Lane Kiffin can do that. He has very troubling record in some of the big games. Some other names I've heard out there. I'll throw this last one out, and I'll stop talking about it. But people have been saying John Gruden, and absolutely the hell not. Hell no. Hell damn no. I kind of get why some people want him, but no. I mean, I think, and call me woke, call me whatever, but I think John Gruden is, one, not a very good human being. But, I know Alabama fans don't care about that. They just want Alabama to win. But I think that also affects recruiting. I don't know, with some of the things that came out that I won't repeat on this podcast. I don't know how many players and recruits are going to want to play for this guy. I mean, you can say, oh, well, if they get so hurt personally by what he says, then we don't need him anyways. You can say that, but that would be a lot of people, a lot of damn good players wouldn't want to play for a guy who said the things he has. And I don't blame him at all. It's totally justified for not wanting to play for this guy. So, I don't know about John Gruden. I would not be happy if Alabama hired him at all. But, I mean, this fan base is so damn spoiled. So spoiled. I love Alabama, but we can be worried, we can be concerned, we can be outraged, but can we put the pitchforks and the torches down just for a damn second? I mean, maybe I've been spending too much time on the message boards or too much time on Twitter, but geez, some of the stuff is ridiculous. People just trying to find something to blame. People trying to blame NIL. People trying to blame this and that. I mean, I saw something the other day, a post being like, oh, why these players have headphones on before the game? They shouldn't need headphones to hype them up. Shut the hell up. Every program across the country allows headphones during the game. Saban allowed headphones during the game. And I may not get into it today, but I do want to mention people are doing, Saban wouldn't allow this. Saban wouldn't allow that. This is different than Saban. And I know they were going to do that. They've been doing it since last year. But we need to stop, guys. This is not Saban anymore. I get it. I love Saban. I would love to Alabama to be dominant once more. But it's not Saban anymore, guys. And I'm not saying we need to just sit down, piss down our leg, and let's go 6-6 and be happy about it. But we can't expect to win every single game and go 13, or they don't play 13 games anymore. Go undefeated every year. We've got to be realistic. We can have high standards, but we can't have outrageous ones. That's what I'm talking about. And I mean, people have been talking about Ryan Williams, and he didn't have a good game Saturday. I mean, I think a lot of it was because they double bracketed him, and I think that some of that is what allowed Jeremy Bernard to have the game he had. But I mean, people trying to blame his painted nails. Shut the hell up, man! I don't care what the guy wears. I mean, you don't want to get on here and have me defend or talk about painting nails. That's not what this podcast is about. But come on, who the hell cares? Cam Newton wears ridiculous hats, ridiculous outfits, and he's a pretty damn good player. He's one of the greatest players in college football history and an MVP in the NFL. I don't give a damn what you wear. I just give a damn if you play good. So if you're going to criticize Ryan Williams, don't criticize his damn nails. Criticize the way he was running his routes. Criticize his drops. Jeez, but I'll wrap it up for Alabama. I know that went on way longer than any segment, but I get passionate about my Tide, damn it. But, Alabama needs to play better. They go and they play ULM next week, Good thing, Louisiana Monroe, a team that Alabama has never, ever struggled with.